Hello everybody and welcome back to the fourth episode of Backseat Friends, and yes, amazingly this has managed to get to a fourth episode. Today we're going to run down sort of the weekly events, and we're sorry it's been late, but hey ho, there's an extra news story in it for you this time. But we've been having some technical difficulties. One of our guys, you may notice that Wakey is not here today. His mic has gone and conked out and will not be with us until, did you say the 20th? He said the 20th, didn't he? Around that time.
Yeah,
I think.
oh, it was because it was on holiday.
Oh, is that what it was? I thought his mic had conked out. One of the two. Either way, he technically can't do this, so it's technical difficulties. That's sound. Anyway, so, should we start this whole thing off then? Let's run down what actually happened this week, because, oh boy, there was a lot. We'll start off with a sort of rest in peace to Barry Chuckle, as he died this week, didn't he? Which honestly has been both sad and a bit amazing, because the amount of memes that have come out of anywhere. I mean, I'm just going to show like one that was. You said it was on Paul Chuckle's Snapchat a while back, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a good few months ago.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just sort of resurfaced. But it's like not the only one. Like, I don't know. I'm rather impressed at the amount of the ease at which people are able to take the piss out of this. But in the same regard, you kind of like that's kind of probably what he wanted. Like he wouldn't want a boring ass funeral, would he? He wouldn't want like just to be sort of remembered like any old person. Like he was a celebrity in the UK just for like slapstick comedy and amazing like shows. Like if you haven't seen the Chuckle Brothers, I think it is on Netflix. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it is. If you're like, yeah, I think Chucklevision is actually on Netflix.
Lad.
I think it might not no longer be there, but I'm pretty sure I saw it like before. But if you are that one person in England who hasn't seen Chucklevision, go mad. It's genuinely a laugh. Like even to this day, I think it holds up, doesn't it? It's clearly aimed at like a child's audience, but still holds up.
Yeah.
But with that, I think we should sort of...
it was just a really influential thing because I mean, how often is it that you move a sofa or well, anything? It takes two people, and you don't say to me, to you.
Yeah, it's the sign of a good chair mover, actually. If they don't repeat those lines, you fire them. It's just the rules. But yeah, rest in peace, Barry Chuckle, and thank you for many, many years of great comedy. And
that's another thing that came out. I couldn't believe how long they'd been doing it. No.
I know. Oh, they were doing like stand-up shows until like the very end, weren't they?
Well, yeah, no, but I mean, they started what back in the '60s.
I'm not a clue. I used to go see their shows like every year.
Yeah.
It's like we used to go to Skegness quite a lot, and they did a lot of shows there.
Yeah, but no, they've been going for decades.
I mean, it makes sense. Have you seen how old they are?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I didn't realise until all this came to just how old they really were.
God almighty. Do you think like they'll survive like the next generation? Do you think they're one of them people, like one of them couples that are just sort of in British pop culture now as the thing everyone has to watch?
I reckon, yeah, well, it'll be like Monty Python.
Yeah, see, I've only ever seen one Monty Python. I've only ever seen Life of Brian.
I'd say Chuckle Brothers themselves aren't anything like Monty Python, but
oh no, same low budget style though, isn't it?
Yeah, but they'll just be like it in the sense of
British,
Monty Python, all their main stuff came out, decades ago. I think it was the 90s, so, 80s and 90s. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I would have thought so if we watched them.
And like everybody knows of Monty Python. Everybody's heard at least one Monty Python skit.
Yeah, I mean, I've only ever seen Life of Brian, but yeah, I know a lot of the jokes. I think Chuckle Brothers is another one like that, isn't it? Where it's sort of like everyone knows to meet
Yeah,
you, at least, like
yeah.
if nothing else.
And oh dear, oh dear.
And Mr. Carrington Smythe. I used to be the one I liked.
Yeah.
But no, rest in peace, Barry. Let's hope you actually last like another generation, because I feel like every British child should have the opportunity to see Chucklevision. Even if it's just one episode. Like, I don't care if it's just one episode we preserve in an archive. Yeah, rest in peace, Barry. And then on to some interesting news this week. Boris Johnson's comments about the burqa.
Oh, there we
That's segue, boys. Do you know what I find most interesting about the story? The general Brit is okay with his comments. Like, I'm okay with him saying it. I don't think what he said is potentially a good way of saying it, but I understand where he's coming from. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't have used like letterbox and stuff. I can understand the fears that he's getting across. But what I find quite shocking is the Metropolitan Police said it doesn't warrant a hate crime, and the average British citizen is like, yeah, okay, fine, we don't mind what he said. It's like he's called them letterboxers. How is this okay?
The thing is that it's obvious that he said this purely for political point scoring.
I don't think he does. I think he genuinely has no idea what he's saying. I think he is just sort of winging everything. In fact, let's just get Boris Johnson up on screen a minute, just so like everyone can see his, because he's got a glorious face, hasn't he? Like, it's the one thing we can agree on here. Yeah, it's a great face.
The Boris Johnson though earlier.
I've got the one where it looks like he's wearing a toupee.
It's just that Boris Johnson is essentially the British Poundland version of Donald Trump.
Except he's got more brain cells. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Like, he at least knows what he's doing to some extent. He's an absolute mental case.
He is.
But he at least, like, he doesn't just. What have you got up here? Oh, for God's sake. I don't know. I'm interested to see where the story's going to go. I'm interested to see if there's going to be any kind of social change or even like political change. I don't know. Do you think the burqa's okay? Like,
what was that? You kind of broke up a bit.
Oh, sorry. Do you think the burqa's okay?
See, I have a mixed opinion of it.
Same.
On the one hand, it's like cultural tradition, and its origin is really not, is essentially a forced thing in a lot of medieval caliphate.
The fact that it's still around today is bizarre.
And it was used as a kind of, it was as a sense of, to mark ownership of a woman, to say.
It still is to some extent.
To say, well, yeah, and that's the thing, Obviously, people used it then to say, look, this person is mine, you aren't allowed to look at her, only I may look upon my wife, she is mine, or whatever.
What is it?
Which was a thing that existed in Christian culture as well, but phased out after the, de-Christianization and the medieval European industrial.
How does it exist in Christian culture? Then I'm actually interested. I've never heard that one.
Variants of it in that, just women were not, they basically weren't expected to be seen in public. Especially early Christian things such as, Christian Rome and the Franks and the Christian Goths and things like that. And, going into, again, going into the medieval period, Christian Europe did have similar things. And I mean, one of those, in the sense that women, weren't allowed to leave the house. And where do you think the classic wedding veil comes from? And the idea that
True,
it's
yeah.
bad luck to see the bride for the wedding is that most of the time, modern marriage traditions come from the
Messed
old
up
aristocratic.
religious. Messed
They
up
come from the
religious,
old aristocratic
yeah.
marriage traditions in which you would marry off your daughters at like the age of 12 or 13 to someone who would have never met them. So the marriage, they're not supposed to have seen them before they get married. I mean, even back just before Islamic culture in the East, I mean, Greek culture, many Greek city-states back, in the days of the ancient Greek,
Mm.
pre-Roman, women were made, to wear a full face veil. It's very reliable historical evidence. Even in Athens was probably one of the worst offenders of
Well,
it.
wasn't Athens like
It's probably
really, really like messed up with like the rights they gave to females? Like, if you were an Athenian woman, you were kind of just treated like dirt.
pretty much, yeah. You were, if you were
Because I know
resourceful
Spartan
in the
women were
house,
treated
if you had
somewhat
a
okay,
wealthy
weren't they? But
husband,
it's like that was about the only place where you could
yeah,
get
if you
away
had
with
a
being a
wealthy
woman.
husband, again, wealth power comes into play. Like it does a lot of the time when it comes to segregation of women. But if you're a woman with a wealthy husband,
Yeah.
you'd your entire purpose would be to maintain the house and to birth children. But your husband would likely have the occasional parties going on. There's some very good, like, contemporary evidence talking about the Athenian life from people mainly during the Peloponnesian War when they abandoned Athens and joined Sparta. But and these men, the men would all meet over in the house and they'd bring in, whores, hiring some Persian dancers or something to entertain them through their festivities or whatever.
Hmm.
And if you look at some of the Athenian plays as well, and look at
Sorry, yeah,
what was
Ryan,
the
I'll just jump in
the
my time
play?
machine and go watch some Athenian plays, yeah?
No. Like a lot of them still go on today, but I mean, if you just read from it, if you read the scripts of them,
Yeah.
you can get the idea. And I can't remember who the playwright is, but there was one playwright who was known to be, a bit of a female liberationist.
They existed back then?
He wanted to try and, get more rights for women.
Hmm.
And many of the other, both comedy playwrights and drama playwrights, mocked the ever-loving shit out of him in their own plays, because Greek plays were always unless they're a satire, which is not a modern satire. They were a reflection of society to try and give a message. So again, Peloponnesian War era plays are really interesting.
I might have to sort of try and track some down then.
Aristophanes for comedies. I'm trying to go back to my A-level history now, but
So I'm
yeah,
assuming you're gonna have to have some kind of knowledge of history, right, in that area.
yeah. I studied A-level history in Greece and Rome, so Greek and Roman history.
See, I decided to do maths, physics, and chemistry because I'm a nerd.
Like Aristophanes is great. Not many people really like him, but because a lot of his jokes are obviously contemporary to the era, so you have to understand, a bit about ancient Athenian society. But
Well, it's the same with any play, really, isn't it? Like
yeah,
you,
oh yeah,
you can't go in, you can't go watch like a historical musical without knowing some kind of background there. I
yeah.
think, to be fair, these
I
days,
know.
like a Hairspray, most people go watch that and they're like, oh, yeah, it's a silly musical, isn't it? About civil rights and stuff. It's like, no, that kind of really did happen.
Yeah.
Like, it really
Going
was
back
that
to the
messed up
whole
back
thing of
then.
going back to the thing about the burqa though.
Yeah.
Uh,
See, I'm glad Ryan's keeping us on track this today because
yeah,
I'm terrible at it.
look, I was saying how I'm indifferent. I mean, I'm talking about how it's all these other things.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
it's used.
Okay, go on. Go on then.
At the same time, a lot of women, in Western, many Muslim women in Western societies, but wear it out of choice.
Really?
Because they don't. Yeah, they choose to wear it because they feel
See, I
that
always see it as like a symbol of
in a
oppression.
reverse sense. In a reverse sense, it's seen now as kind of a symbol of liberation because to a lot of women, whether or not it really works the way a lot of people seem to argue, as I would argue, but um, and they claim that it stops them from being objectified, in the sense that obviously in modern Western culture is fairly sexualized. I won't say it's very, and it's more sexualized towards women, and you see now, a lot of people will over sexualize with, it's very again, male centric, the sexualization of women, and they see it as kind of a resistance to being seen as a sexual object.
Yeah, but in the same sense, like
Yeah,
it,
it's a fair argument, but it's a really
it's really,
awkward.
yeah. I
It,
don't like
it,
that idea. I don't like the idea that they're like reappropriating it to mean like
yeah,
the
no, I mean,
complete opposite of what it meant, because
you
it
see
kind of
the
just
idea of
leaves a bad
where they're
taste in your
coming.
mouth. It
I
kind of
mean, I
makes you
can
wonder: are they
again,
doing it to
I see
reappropriate it,
where
or are
people
they
are
being
coming
forced to?
from with this. Yeah,
Because there
no,
are
I
still households
actually do.
in this country that will like. I'm sure there are still Muslim households where like the woman is forced to wear a burqa. So those who are using it as sort of like a
Anyway,
liberation device are kind of undermining their own point.
again, I can kind of see the idea behind the thought, though, in the sense that if you're from a culture that you're from a culture that isn't excessively sexualized, living in a culture where you could argue, especially comparatively, is quite sexualized, and it's kind of a
I
resistance
don't
to the
think the
idea
Western
that
world is that sexualized, right?
no, it's not. It's really not hugely sexualized. In fact,
You
there's
just mean
still a
by
lot of sexual.
comparison.
I'm going to say, I mean, there's a lot of sexual repression
Mm.
still within modern, former Christian Western society because of those Christian values that do still exist.
Mm. Yeah, like there's still people who think like you shouldn't have sex before marriage and shit.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like obviously those kind of traditions are certainly nowhere near as strong, which is again why it comes down to the whole kind of sexualization.
Mm.
But it's an awkward sexualization because I believe that it should be, but a society should be sexually free. But
At least in some sense. I think on that
yeah,
point, I think
well,
Andrew
yeah, I'll
Weir's
say,
Artemis kind of puts it perfectly into perspective. What I think you're trying to say with the whole idea of sexual freedom, because the way you're saying it is very open-ended. I don't know if
hmm.
you read Artemis or
What?
Artemis, the guy who wrote the Martian's new book.
No.
Oh, I forgot to kind of can't use that example then. You don't mean like anyone should sleep with anyone. You mean there should be some limits, but the limits shouldn't
Oh,
be
yeah,
as
there
repressed.
should be limits, but what consenting adults want to do, they should be able to do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what.
There shouldn't be the kind of judgment for that, and
Yeah.
social attack, and the kind of uh the the sanctifying of sex, basically, which is with what still you still get a bit in, from Christianized traditions. You know what I'm saying? Obviously,
Kind
I'm
of.
not
Yeah.
saying it. I'm not endorsing paedophilia or anything.
No.
I
No.
mean,
That's what I
the
was trying to avoid you saying.
adults. Yeah, it's the reason why I say consenting
Yeah.
adults.
Yeah. But yeah. So my take on the whole situation is, I kind of get where he's coming from. Um. I don't imagine the burqa's all that safe to drive in. That's my thought. And for those of you who don't know, women are allowed to drive in the UK, so by extension, they're allowed to drive in burqas. Um, so I don't know. I kind of get where he's coming from in some regards. I think his language is a bit weird, and I think the idea of forcing someone to not wear something is just as bad as forcing someone to wear something. So I get what you're saying when you say they use it as like a sort of female liberation kind of thing, where like they'll reappropriate it to that it's their choice to wear it, and like that's fine if that's the case. But I don't know. The burka's a weird one.
Yeah, the way Boris Johnson went about it was frankly disgusting.
It was. No, it was. I can't get behind the way he says it, just because I don't like the idea of calling someone a letterbox. And that wasn't the only phrase he used, was it? There was other. That's just like the standout phrase.
It's Boris Johnson, so what didn't he say?
Bear in mind, this is the same guy who, when was it a woman who was in prison in Iraq or something for political charges? The guy said, no, she's not a political person, she's a journalist, even though she was in prison for political charges and they had nothing to indicate that she was under political charges, but journalism would count as a political charge. So basically put her in...
I think it was Iraq or Iran?
It's one of the two. But it basically meant that she was guaranteed to be in prison for a much longer time.
He completely failed his diplomatic duty to get her free.
I mean, she's free now, isn't she? She's out. I think she's home, or at least been extradited. I think.
Yeah, I think after a campaign or something, but he didn't. He didn't
make it any easier for himself.
So he made the entire situation worse. I think in the end, Theresa May had to get involved.
And again, to be fair, Theresa May was a pretty decent Home Secretary, so she knows how to quell diplomatic tensions and shit.
Well,
she was. She was a good Home Secretary. I'm sorry. Anyone who's got half a brain can see that. Not necessarily the best Prime Minister. I can leave that up for debate. That's fine. I can understand the logic there. But bear in mind, this is a guy who, bookies think he is after the leadership role, and he himself has not ruled it out.
It's clear he's after the leadership role, but he's buying for time because at the moment.
Do you think? See, I think it was someone I heard had a theory that he's just trying to piss the Tories off so much that they have to kick him out, so that he can have a reason to start a new party.
I believe that.
Let's be honest, the Tories aren't going to keep him around for much longer. He says whatever the hell is on his mind, and then that's about it.
The thing is, he knows that he's a valuable asset to the Tory party.
He's not. He's a valuable asset to himself.
Well, I mean,
they could easily get someone better than him.
Support, and people do think that he does bring a lot of support for the Tory party.
See, I mean, you say that and it's true. I was scrolling through Facebook earlier this week and was seeing phrases like, "I want this man to be my next Prime Minister." So, do you think? I don't know. Who do you think's going to be leader of the Tory party by the next election?
I don't know. Because on the one hand, I can't see anyone actually challenging Theresa May at the moment, on the simple reason of.
I don't know. Everyone's quitting, and she's kind of in for a vote of no confidence sometime soon.
Yeah, but the thing is, nobody's going to want to take her job at the moment. People want to wait.
Until Brexit's over.
At the moment, Prime Minister is this leader of the Tory party is being captain of a sinking ship. Because
it's captain of the sinking ship that has been nuked a few thousand times as well.
Listen to.
We are not going to come out of Brexit alive. It's we might come out of it clinging to life. But we're not going to come out living.
There was comments a couple of weeks ago, don't worry, a no deal, even if there's a no deal Brexit, we'll make sure there's enough food for everyone. And you hear things like that and you're just like, what? I'm sorry, what?
So it's worth noting on that fact, when was rationing like phased out in England. It was sometime in the 50s, wasn't it? The 50s or
Was it
60s.
50s, I believe.
Yeah, so we've been a ration-free country for a good amount of time now, and I can actually see this being a thing politicians are going to have to debate, like whether to go back to old ration books because of Brexit. If so, we're fine up in Yorkshire, because all of our recipes, like all the stuff that you'll have at home, were designed for rationing.
Yay.
So it's great, isn't it? Like Yorkshire puddings were designed like to fill you up before the dinner. So like you didn't have to have the expensive meat and shit. So you'd have a Yorkshire pud, have meat and whatever you could have, right? And then have another Yorkshire pud. And it was stodgy and it'd fill you up. It's like the whole, like our national dish, as it works. I mean, Yorkshire's now a nation. That's just how it works, right? We're big enough, right?
Well, we're bigger than Scotland.
Fuck you, Scotland.
International football team.
Our national dish, right, is just going to be the Yorkshire pud with like a bit of gravy on.
Yeah.
It's like, and then like it'd be it'd be Yorkshire pudding on its own. Yorkshire pudding with some like tomato soup in it. Yorkshire pudding with some gravy, and then Yorkshire pudding with some jam for all 3 courses.
No. You've got it wrong. The main course is roast beef in a massive Yorkshire pud.
Stop! I'm hungry.
With gravy, obviously. You're not seeing the plate pud?
No, I've
Yorkshire
not seen that.
pud. Oh, they are great. They are basically Yorkshire pudding's the size of plates.
We used to have them. We used to have them at school, like filled with like stew and shit. Gorgeous.
But yeah, you know the idea of it is it saves on the washing up because you don't get gravy all over your plate.
But yeah, like,
get big Yorkshire pudding.
Are you quite worried that rationing might be a thing that's going to happen in the next few years?
Don't
make me feel like my fear is unbased.
Yeah, I don't have any reason at the moment to think that, you know, there is going to be food shortages, because I think there is going to be some kind of deal. It's not going to be very favourable for Britain.
I don't think it's going to be favourable for anyone. I think at this point we've dragged it out so long, like in the negotiations, I've just cost every country that we're even remotely involved with in Brexit an actual shitload of money. So I think, for the most part, Brussels is going to become jaded with us. We're going to get a shit deal. And we're going to actually have to worry about food shortages.
Pretty safe to assume that our current government is not going to be able to give a good Brexit deal. Which is something I was saying from the very start, you know.
Do you think it's the current government under Theresa May or the current cabinet?
Well, the government since David Cameron called for actually made the call for Brexit, you know. We are not going to be able to have a successful, you know, Brexit deal with you know, the Tory government that was obviously then under Cameron and now even more so under May. Because there's too much infighting and not enough decision making.
Is there actually a single party in this country that isn't infighting? Except the Liberal Democrats, but I don't think they're big enough to be considered a party at this point.
You're saying Lib Dems?
Yeah.
I don't know, I think the Greens are quite, like, stable.
What, on their one seat?
Yeah.
Oh no, they got a few, didn't they? They get like 3.
Yeah, I think I have 2.
They have 2?
Yeah, I think it's 2 that they have.
And then it's UKIP that's got like 1, isn't it?
I think they lost their 1 seat.
But basically, I find it quite funny because UKIP were just like a force to be reckoned with, like not too long ago, and now they're just the laughing stock.
Green Party only has 1 seat.
Only has 1. Okay. There we go then. I don't know. I think the next few years are going to be interesting in politics. Like, Boris Johnson's comments are either going to make his career or break it. And by the looks of the way people are going, it's going to make it.
Yeah. Like, again, I think no one's going to want to take the role as Tory leader, so Theresa May is still going to be Prime Minister by the time of another election. Although, I mean, she's gone on a walking holiday again, so you never know. We might be getting an election next
Oh,
year.
for fuck's sake.
Because, the last election was called because she went on a walking holiday and just felt it was the right time.
Ooh, or she'll go running through a field of wheat and get arrested because she's such a bad man.
What?
Or she'll go running through a field of wheat and get arrested because she's such a bad man.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. I voted for, her party. What the hell is wrong with me? Do you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to vote independent next time. Unless, the Conservatives really wow me, I'm probably going to wind up voting independent. I don't know. I'm not voting for Labour because I don't like Corbyn at all.
Oh, yeah.
But should we talk about Jezza now, since he's also been in the news this week?
Yeah. Let's do that.
And the most amazing, you know more about this than I do, don't you? Because you actually follow the Labour Party.
Yeah.
So essentially, he's likened. You said it was the Israeli government, didn't you, to the Nazis?
It's the Israeli government that he's likened to the Nazi Party.
Yes.
In the sense of their actions of apartheid and occupation.
Well, I mean, I'm just keep talking around. I'm just going to grab a picture of Jezza because I've got a nice one.
Forcing Palestinians from their homes in order to turn them into sunflower plantations.
Oh my God, that's a massive picture of him.
Basically, the unlawful and imprisonment of Palestinians for defending their homes. Which is this is going from the UN as well.
But it's the fact you say home. Home is debatable. That's kind of the problem.
No, as in, the actual physical home.
Oh, you mean like Gaza and stuff?
Being demolished. Yeah, in Gaza,
yeah, sure,
Palestinians, the houses are being demolished, the sunflower plantations
I get
by Israeli settlers. And, and they're being forced to live in what is essentially a giant prison camp.
To be honest, my take on this whole situation is it's kind of come at a really bad time. Because, Corbyn's already sort of been mocked by everyone for being, for appearing anti-Semitic.
He isn't though. He's a critic of Israel. He's a critic of Israel. He's not an anti-Semite.
That's fine. It's fine to be a critic of Israel. It's more wasn't it the comments he said sometime last year or something? Was that also in Israel?
Oh, the thing that came. Yeah, well, most of the things that he's saying, are based on,
he is very heavily a critic of Israel. If you look back at his political statements and shit, that's kind of a big thing he's dealt with. But yeah, I don't know. I'm quite worried about Corbyn, his career right now. Or I think he should be. Because he's got all this stuff before him being called an anti-Semite, and now, news sites have the excuse that they can now say Corbyn calls the Jews Nazis, and it technically not be wrong. Technically, the best kind of not wrong. But I don't know. I mean, do you think it is? He'll be fine with this. Do you think there's not going to be an issue?
Well, I mean, people have been trying to brand him as an anti-Semite for ages now.
I mean, there's no trying. They have definitely succeeded in branding him as an anti-Semite. Whether he is or not is another story.
What people in this is that the kind of brandishing that he's been given, it's it's clearly just smear attacks on him that and a lot of people seem to be cottoning on to it. I don't know, especially when there is genuine anti-Semitism within the Tory party.
When there isn't any party, though. Like
No,
my only fear is with Labour.
Anti-Semitism and Islamophobia within the Tory party that nobody seems to be talking about in the press.
Yeah, but no one seems to be also talking about the way Labour like meetings have to be separated between men and women.
What?
I think like when Labour meet certain places, they have to be separated between men and women because there's that many.
Where are you getting this from?
I can't remember. It was a news story I saw a while back. I think it was on Sky actually. Um,
But men and women have to be separated.
yeah, it's because there was that many Muslims in in that particular
Say,
part.
haven't been to several major Labour Party events. I can tell you that's not true.
It might not be true in the ones you've gone to, but it was a pretty reputable source that I got it from. I can't quite remember. I'll try and find the article. If I can find the article, I'll throw it in the link in the description. But no, Labour aren't immune from like anti-Semitism. Like no party is.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, the thing is, a lot of people in the Labour Party are just critics of Israel, and are being branded as, they're being branded as anti-Semitic.
Ah, cheers, cheers, Adam.
It,
Adam's found a Guardian one for it.
let's have a look at this, shall we?
Yeah, apparently this was under Cameron's government that this happened. Of all the bad things to happen under Cameron's government, I didn't think this would be it.
David Cameron has accused Labour of allowing people with bigoted religious views to organise political meetings where men and women are segregated. There have been several reports of Labour apology. Oh, I think I know what this is. I think it was I think I know. I think the actual situation was that several MPs were. Yeah, it says when they were talking to Muslim communities, and I think the main part of it was that they were it was meetings in mosques, which again it's Islam does have an issue with
Yeah, okay, so
gender equality,
Adam's got the image. I'm just going to throw the image up because otherwise we don't have anything to go in the corner of degenerates. So, just for the sake of this, let's just get this up. This, I'm assuming, is from the Guardian article, right, Adam?
That's from the Daily Mail one.
Daily Mail, oh, god damn it.
Yeah, it's no,
well, I mean, the thing is, they're still in the same.
Super reputable, boys.
Room, so.
Bring you all the picture though.
That's fine, I've got it.
Really?
It's the Daily Racist.
No, I think most people call it the Daily Hail.
But I think you can see where the accusation comes from in that image, right? Because you can see this image too, right, Ryan? It's put in the Discord chat. You can see where the accusation comes from, right?
Again, it's a meeting in a mosque, and mosques have that. I mean, I don't agree that mosques.
I'm going to say, do you agree that a mosque should be a place for political meeting?
Well, I think it. Well, for a lot of Muslim communities, the mosque is, the center of their community. So, and I think it was addressing, it was a meeting to address the local Muslim community. So, in that sense, I think it's quite fair.
Because they're not doing a community centre, though.
Well, I think it is. Well, it's a mosque and community centre. But again, it's from a Muslim community in which they, religious, in the name of their religion, do segregate. Now, I don't support that segregation, but you can't force them to go against their traditions. At the same time, though, you say should a political meeting be held in a mosque? A lot of modern political, big regional political things, such as a lot of hustings events during election periods, are held in churches.
Really?
Yeah, my local one in the last election, the last couple of elections has been in local old abbey, which is now, a big, I believe that there's quite a similar thing happens in Lincoln with, Lincoln Cathedral, and in York with York Minster.
I thought Lincoln met at the council hall.
They might do, but, again, there are, it's still quite common. In fact, there was a thing with, but another good example was the hosting, Amber Rudd's hostings in the last election. That was done in a church. But, at the same time, obviously.
See, I mean, I don't think any... I'm kind of in the camp of I don't think religion should be any part of my politics.
No,
I don't think the religious basis
should
is...
be a complete step.
Yeah.
Of course, the counter argument, in the sense of holding the things in churches is that they're Church of England churches, which are technically part of the state. I mean, I don't think,
I don't think they
I would
should
argue
be.
they shouldn't exist as part of the state anymore.
Hmm.
Why should you get a guaranteed spot within the House of Lords just because you're ordained as a bishop?
Yeah, that's kind of weird, actually. I did not know that.
Yeah, all bishops are members of the House of Lords.
So theoretically, you could just become a really high member of C of A.
Obviously, all Church of England bishops, that is.
Yeah, exactly.
But
It must be like, boy, oh my lord, now.
As a bishop, you'd be in the House of Lords. Now, of course, good luck becoming a bishop, especially considering I'm betting, unless I'm deeply mistaken, I don't think you're Christian.
Fam, I'm actually Methodist, but that's not the point. Fam, I could do this.
I mean, it's the House of Lords, and I don't think they hold much real power anymore.
I mean, they've still got veto power.
Yeah, I mean, just, the bishopry. I mean, a lot of other major religious figures, religious leaders in Britain do gain spaces in the House of Lords, but, they don't get it through, just the guaranteed you are a thing, although it is, I suppose in reality it's kind of a guarantee because essentially the government is forced, it feels that it basically has to have the people appointed just because, the bishops get the place, so, and, we argue of, religious freedom.
I mean, yeah, I'm in favour of religious freedom, right?
Have to treat, you have to treat the religion. You know what I'm saying? Is
but
the bishop.
I don't think bishops should become like a House of Lords representatives.
Yeah, no, they should. I think they should. I mean, I think the House of Lords in need of major reform.
Yeah, or getting rid of, and replacing with something else.
Yeah.
But what do you replace it with, though? Like...
See, that is a good question. So, some of the arguments are, have a Senate, like in America, and
doesn't that just like
some European
breathe
countries.
pro blackmail? Like,
but the counter argument to that is it's just another
House of Lords.
Commons. No, if it's a Senate that's all elected, it basically becomes another House of Commons.
I thought the Senate was positioned by the President.
No, the Senate is elected. They have longer terms than congressmen. I think they have like 10-year terms instead of 5-year terms. But they're still Senate elections. Another argument for Britain, though, for House of Lords reform is to maintain the appointed status, but change the way in which people are appointed to the House. And also, one of the big things of everything is, of course, to ditch the 97 remaining hereditary peers.
Or is that you were saying, Adam?
They could use it to create a second House of Commons to facilitate
What?
systems like mixed member proportional representation, alternative votes, where you could either create that by having less constituencies with the same number of seats, or by creating more seats, which use House of Lords space instead.
Okay, so what, use it as maybe like an overseer system then?
Well, no, because the way like mixed member proportional representation works is every constituency gets multiple seats, the first seat is basically in Houston right now, then the other seats are used to actually make the government representative of the total votes.
Huh.
You could use those seats to implement a system that's better than first past the post.
What, so have two different voting systems? Have first past the post for...
It's just one voting system. It's just that the second house gets the extra seats that are needed to make that voting system work.
It
So it's
could
only one
work.
ballot, but you'd have to vote multiple times on that same ballot.
As if we don't vote enough already in this country.
If you think we vote enough, look at America.
Mate, I want to live there at some point.
Electoral fatigue is a very real thing in America because everything is elected.
You're kidding.
Well, every official position is elected. So the local sheriff is elected. All the police chiefs, which are the sheriffs really, but
So anyway, what's elected over here? It's MP.
Fire department and are elected. I'd say there are a lot of elections in America, and most of them don't really get much attendance.
Yeah. So what's elected over here? MP. Mayor.
MP,
Mayor, if you've got one.
Depends on the mayor. Civic mayors aren't.
Aren't there?
They're appointed. Civic
Okay.
mayors are appointed by the council, because they're elected to the council, and then the mayor is the head of the council.
Right. So basically, we have MP, maybe mayor.
Yeah.
It's a metropolitan mayor, isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
Who else are we elected? Council members, I guess. You elect them.
Yeah, councils and members of the European Parliament.
Are they elected? I thought they were appointed.
MEPs were elected.
Oh, I thought they were elected by the MPs.
No, we have European elections.
Oh shit then.
Did you not know that we have European elections?
No, I mean I just vote.
Because they use they have a very distinct election system because they're elected through fixed list PR.
Oh. You learn something new every day.
There's also police and crime commissioners are elected, but nobody cares about them.
Wow, are you saying you don't vote in an election there, Ryan?
I'm just saying that nobody votes in the police and crime commissioners' elections.
We can have general elections, local government elections, European Parliament elections, Scottish Parliament elections, Northern Ireland Assembly elections.
Well, we don't have Scottish or Northern Ireland.
Yeah, but in the UK. In the UK.
Yeah.
Local mayors, mayors of London and London Assembly, police and crime commissioners and referendums are all we can vote on in the UK.
Oh yeah, it's referendums, but
Which the government doesn't even have to listen to the referendum, do they?
Yeah, no, a referendum is not legally binding.
It's just it's designed to be like political consensus.
The reality of it is now, though, that it is binding because it's.
Well, there's precedent for it now, isn't there?
I'm gonna sound like one of them people now, but the idea, it's the idea that a referendum is, quote, the will of the people, even if
it's not.
the referendum has a 30% turnout. I'm looking at you, electoral reform referendum from 2014.
Well, I couldn't vote in that.
Oh no, I couldn't vote in that, but still, there was I think it was a 30% turnout for it.
Let me guess, they put it
was
on...
the idea, do you want first past the post or do you want alternative, do you want AV? And nobody understood how AV works.
Let me get this straight, they had an election for that and we're still using first past the post.
It's because there are campaigns against alternative vote.
Who the fuck campaigns against alternative vote? It's just inherently the better system.
But it makes it harder to get elected.
There is...
parties to get elected. That makes it harder for the party in power to stay in power.
But that's why it's good.
Yeah, but no one will
The thing
vote
is,
them
it's a
power,
really awkward
and it makes
thing
them harder.
because it was a really awkward thing anyway because it was a Liberal Democrat policy that the Tories were forced to do through the coalition. Obviously,
You
the
say
Tories,
forced.
yeah,
It's not like the
Lib Dems
Liberal Democrats
embracing
can do that much.
I'm gonna say
42%
it was
turnout.
one part of the
Or was that
coalition
42% turnout,
agreement.
Adam?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what what the Lib Dems wanted was a referendum on proportional representation. The Tories wouldn't allow that because it'd probably get voted in. So they had to settle for AV, which it's not much better than first past the post in all fairness.
Yes, but it's
And
definitely better.
and of course the Lib Dems didn't want AV. They did a terrible job explaining it. Nobody on the first past the post side, which was Labour and the Tories, because both Labour and Tories do lose out if they don't get, with electoral reform, which is why we haven't had it. And all the minor parties, they didn't want AV because it doesn't do anything, so they didn't really step in to join the argument. So there were no real explanations to the general public as to how AV worked, which is why you say it was 41%, Adam.
42.
No, 40. Still that's quite low. I mean, I thought it was more. I thought it was in the 30s, but
I mean, 42 is not too bad for the UK, really.
yeah,
No, it's bad, but it's not the worst.
yeah.
Anyway, should we stop shitting on the British government for a bit? And I mean,
Alright.
only for a bit.
Yeah. We'll come back later, shall we?
We'll come back later for a bit. I mean, maybe we'll come back. Monkey dust is also in the news. So this has been on the news in multiple areas. It's been on national news and also in local news for Lincoln. So essentially, from what I can gather, it's a derivative of PCP, and it makes you just do what the fuck you want to do, I guess. Like, you feel invincible. You have like ungodly strength because you just don't give a fuck. I'm aware I'm kind of advertising this as like a drug you should take. No, you really shouldn't. Do you remember the advert for Drink Awareness where the guy thinks he's a Superman and jumps off a building and dies?
Yeah.
No one remember that.
Yeah, I remember it.
Vaguely, right? Sound. That's basically what this does. It makes you feel like you are invincible to the point where there is a video on Sky News's like coverage of this, of a man climbing up onto a roof and jumping off, or falling off, sorry, onto a car, then resisting arrest. This is a 2-story building onto a car, climbing out and resisting arrest. My heart kind of goes to the police officers there, because they have to somehow arrest a guy who's probably got a spinal injury. Like, so, it was in the Lincolnite as well, Monkey Dust, which is our local paper. Well, yeah, one of them. Essentially, there's a fear that it's coming to Lincoln. So, be aware of this if you go around town. This could be a thing. They will act like zombies.
I'm not gonna say. I mean, in the sense of like zombies, we already have a bit of a spice problem.
I'm gonna say that spice. This is like, this isn't fucking what's his name zombies.
I mean, you don't get harassed in the state.
This isn't Romero zombies, right? And this is like full on fucking Nazi zombies, Activision zombies.
Yeah. I know. I'm just saying. We do have a spice problem in Lincoln. It's not as bad as some places, but it's there. I'm gonna say I haven't really heard much on this monkey dust, so I can't comment that.
Well,
much.
I'd quite like to not hear very much more, to be honest, because like this shit is not nice. Basically, it's just making the police's job a living nightmare. And it's got potential to just outright kill you.
It's some people take it though.
Yeah, but
That's the
right.
thing, you know. People do this.
Yeah, what the fuck is with this race and like just giving
Oh,
ourselves
yeah.
drugs?
Yeah.
Because like from what you gathered, it can be either injected, snorted, which is where the idea of dust comes from,
Yeah.
or I think it can also be rubbed onto your skin through the freebase. So it can come as a powder, a liquid, or a freebase.
You know.
So yeah, it could just like there's so many options for how you want this shit in your body. So do you think maybe we're gonna have like the spice war, where like the spices are against like the monkeys?
No, because the spice heads will probably all just shift to dust. So like, it's dust if it comes here. Well, it'll be like, you know, the upgrade to a lot of people. And, you know, the people that do, you know, people that take manufactured drugs tend to be people that have got nothing left unless it's, you know, something like ecstasy. So that's the thing, I'll say there's a big difference between manufactured drugs, obviously, you know, like monkey dust, spice, you know, coke, heroin, and all that, and organic drugs, so to speak, like, you know, cannabis, shrooms, things like that.
It's gonna be weird. Like, I mean, I kind of feel sorry for the drug dealers too, because I don't think this is not a good drug. Like,
I mean, most drug dealers, you know, will only do, you know, organic stuff.
yeah, because it's where the
But
money's at, isn't it?
well, no, it's more of a moral case.
It's not even just that, right? It's kind of hard to push coke.
Yeah. Well, of course, coke obviously is, you know, again, these, you know, the heavy manufactured things, they have the major industries, and if you step into them,
I mean, coke does not have a major industry. It has.
well, you know, illegal industry. You know,
It has a guy. It has a guy in the middle of the rainforest pouring.
Someone else's turf.
It has the guy in the middle of the
If you start
rainforest
selling
pouring
coke, someone
like
else's
cleaning
turf,
liquid
you'll probably
onto
get
leaves.
I'll send mobsters to shut you down or something, don't they? That's
Jesus.
also
But no, Lincoln does have quite a bad drug problem anyway, doesn't it? Like, let's be frank.
I mean, it's not as bad as some places, though. It has to be said. You know, it's not like, say, Manchester or Liverpool. But then Lincoln is, you know, a more, you know, is a more middle class area. It has to be said. Of course, there are areas like where I live that are very, you know, very much, you know, old working class areas that have essentially devolved into what you can only really describe as ghettos. The area I
Maybe
live,
I get what you mean. I know what the kind of place you're describing because we have a lot of it around us. Like rundown houses with just like
you know,
massive
the
amounts of
areas
poverty.
aren't as big as they are in some of these areas where most of the problems arise. So it's people that have nothing left to lose. So
Well, it's the old adage, isn't it? There's only two times people drink: when they have loads of money or no money.
yeah,
Like,
but you know,
I
it's
guess
same with drugs.
you can
Like,
say drugs must just be the
drugs are
same.
taken by people with loads of money that they can spend on it, or no money, and so you know they've just got nothing left to lose in life.
But it's going to be an interesting year because I mean I'm only here next year. You guys are going another 2 years of this shit. Oh no, you don't, do you?
Well, I've got another one unless I stop on for a masters, which I might do. I haven't decided yet.
Oh yeah, Wakey's not here. He's the young one.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam's second year. Well, third
He's
year.
going to third year now.
Yeah.
So we've only got like another year of this shit anyway, so it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, and then you'll go back to what, Doncaster?
Fuck that. I'm gonna try and get a job.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Go back to...
I mean, quite funnily, I want to work in like the pharmaceutical industry, so.
Oh,
I do. What do you mean, OR? You know, it's a perfectly legitimate reason to work in the pharmaceutical industry.
Are you going to the legal pharmacy or the illegal one?
See, that's the thing. I don't know.
The American drugstore or the American drugs?
funny. No, I don't know. I might. There's a lot of
The
demand
original
from the
deal, yeah.
government for like analytical standards for illicit drugs. So theoretically, I could go into business doing that. Like that is quite a big untapped market, but I don't know. I kind of feel like I prefer to make drugs to help people. I guess would be the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be a weird one. I mean, I'll probably wind up like doing like fucking having a job, won't I? Like master's degree working at Mackey's.
Well, the thing, there's no job market at the moment.
Aye, isn't that true? What are you planning on doing after uni anyway, Ryan? Becoming an MP?
Well, I mean, you don't just become an MP.
Yeah, you do. Have you not seen Jeremy Corbyn?
I mean, you've been an MP for years.
That's what I'm saying.
But no, because his constituency loves him, and that's the thing. You know, I mean, I'm probably going to try and get involved in, politics somehow, see if I can get involved, within somewhere in the Labour Party, probably. Because that's where the dollar at.
Working in the Labour Party.
Or I'll
become a spin
join
doctor
some
for them.
Or I'll take my, my qualifications to try and get somewhere within just, one of the, oh God, I'm gonna say get involved in a think tank, even though I'm deeply opposed to think tank.
Why? Think tanks are a great idea.
Well, the idea is that a lot of the time, they feed their own agenda to politics.
Oh, you mean like a political think tank? No mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're pretty bad.
Think tank.
It becomes an echo chamber.
Yeah. Well, the idea, it's an echo chamber, but they just feed their own agenda into politics.
So I thought you meant just like think tanks in general. Like, no, think tanks in general are a pretty decent idea.
Yeah, no, political think tank.
What about you, Adam? Is it pretty safe that you're going to become making games and shit?
Yeah, going to game friend whether it's either digital game like video games or doing board game stuff.
See, that's kind of nice. Like, we don't have to do like arts and shit and wonder what we're actually going to do. Our degree kind of leads into doing something. I don't know. It's gonna
Also,
be
Adam, if that's the
interesting.
best independent you could get in the chat there.
Is that what?
I'm saying to Adam, if that's the best independent you can come up with.
No, we're not using Lord Buckethead.
Buckethead is great. Oh, who doesn't like Buckethead?
So basically, in the chat, Adam's saying to Ryan he should start his own independent party, and then linked to Laura Connor. Oh wait, no, that's the article. No, Mad Cat and Tom. Wait, he ran for political parliament, like for parliament.
Yeah.
You kidding? You learn something new every day again. The more you know, boys.
Right. He's a former president of the York University Student Union.
Yeah, did you not know? That's how I know him. I didn't know he ran for MP though. Yeah, he was a film student who just had a shitload of time on his hands.
Yeah.
I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. It's Tom Scott if you're wondering. Yeah, he's here on YouTube doing.
To our uni.
Yeah, what is it with Toms and going to uni?
And doing like film and media.
I know, innit? Like, what the fuck? Like we've got Tom Scott at University of Lincoln, and they've got Tom Scott. That's what it is, isn't it? Like you can just tell the difference between like the universities just by the Tom that comes out of it.
Yeah.
Got Lincoln with a weird name, and we've got York with a very British name. It's very straight to the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that sounded very racist, didn't it? And it didn't mean to be. Yeah. So should we swiftly move on from that to the globalists? And the fact that Alex Jones got hit with that banhammer this week. Are we happy that Alex Jones got hit with that banhammer?
I mean, honestly, I find it quite funny, but.
I mean, the reaction is quite funny.
Yeah. I mean, he does spout, like, InfoWars spouts a lot of nonsense.
So to be honest, he's gonna have to go into the corner of degenerates. Just 'cause like you gotta buy them nutraceuticals to stop the globalists from their uprising. So basically, what was the reason he got banned in the end? Was it something to do with hate
I think
speech?
he broke. I think he broke community standards.
Yeah. So that was YouTube. So he was banned off of
That was
Facebook
also the
before
thing,
then.
though, with the currently ongoing case of Alex Jones, and I think he beat his girlfriend or something, or wife or whatever.
Oh, I had no clue. I know basically he's trying to fight for custody, and he's trying to set that Alex Jones. So like I think it's his wife's lawyer is using his persona on the internet as him, and he's trying to say that isn't what he's really like. And I don't know whether to believe him or not.
Yeah, I mean, could someone really be that stupid?
Yes, they could.
Annoyingly, you're right, people can, because people believe the whole thing of the government is putting chemicals in the water, but a ton of a damn frog's gay.
I mean, they are definitely putting chemicals in the water, right? It's a thing that they do, but it's kind of to keep us healthy, you know? It's just a thing we do. It's called chlorine. It's an amazing chemical.
Oh my god, obviously that's the big thing that everyone goes to, the frog's gay. But no, he's just a lunatic.
So I think the frog's gay thing came from when they was it like a vaccine or something in the water supply to try and get it to be more widespread or some shit?
I can't remember.
Based on like my understanding of the history of pharmaceutical vaccinations, which I admit is not that amazing. But I think that's where that came from. But no, there is no such thing as a chemical that would turn the frogs gay. I don't think. And if there is, I kind of want some. I want to see what happens. Hey Ryan, do you want to go to the pub?
Wait, what? I'm not a frog.
So are you... What's your take on him being banned? Are you okay with it or not?
Well, I mean, especially to the end of the time, he was espousing, an InfoWars. So it's more, it's a shutdown of InfoWars, not Alex Jones from, right?
It's not, though, because PJW is still up on YouTube.
Oh, I thought it was InfoWars, not just Alex Jones.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I had a quick check. No, Paul Joseph Watson has uploaded a video. I haven't seen...
Pretty deep association now with white supremacy. So, in that sense, I can understand it, It's the idea of,
So the reason he got banned off of YouTube specifically was because he was something to do with him breaking community standards and then trying to use other accounts to show the Alex Jones show, which is against YouTube's terms of service and is cause for immediate ban, which is what happened. So it's entirely plausible that he might not have actually got banned from YouTube. They might have done an investigation and found nothing. But no, because he can't let the globalists win. He's got to... The man is insane. That's the only way you can put it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But no, he on his site he sells all sorts of bullshit crap that he says makes your life better and shit, and like gets rid of all the chemicals and whatnot, and essentially a lot of it is like not even just like medically questionable, but like pharmaceutically questionable. Like, should this shit even be in a person's body?
I mean, there's a lot of classic hard right at the moment, and Alex Jones is definitely right up there with the problem I have is, it's people selling stupidity.
I'm pretty sure, like, on his site he sells like actual heavy metals.
Bloody hell.
I would imagine it's under InfoWars store, right? InfoWars. Let's just Google this. And
but I mean.
And I'm probably now going to just be on like a fucking watch list. If I'm not, I'm ashamed of my government. Okay, so immediately upon loading the InfoWars store, we have Brain Force Plus, DNA Force Plus, extender-wise, super silver wound dressing gel. What?
I don't even want to ask.
It has apparently been evaluated by the
He sells
FDA.
stupidity. At the end of the day, he sells stupidity, and
Ryan, this is actual silver.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, this is like legit straight up silver. Perfect for treatments for minor cuts, lacerations, abrasions, first and second degree burns, skin irritation. Also accelerates the healing process. So, minor cuts and lacerations. I don't think it's going to be good for a laceration, do you? So a laceration, as far as I'm aware, you need stitches for, because that's kind of the difference between a cut and a laceration.
It could still be quite a small one. I mean, you do get silver plasters.
It's to do with the depth, I think. A laceration's to do with the depth. So above a certain depth, you need stitches.
Basically, there's two types of cut wounds. You've got puncture, which is just a straight in, and a laceration, which is like a slice.
Oh, okay.
I used to do voluntary first aid.
Sound. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, silver
is not good to be put in the body.
It's not very reactive.
Cheers.
Bang. There we go.
I'm just going to drag this picture out.
Some small plasters use... I think they use a small amount of silver because it...
Yeah, it does have antiseptic properties and shit.
But... qualities that it's supposed to... I don't know exactly how it works, but it's supposed to, keep it clear of infection.
No, it does.
Like bacteria.
That's true, but selling it as just like a literal pure product... Well, I'm assuming it's not pure, you know what I'm saying. Honor Roll, kids' DNA. So you know that DNA Force Plus, that was a thing? They're selling it to kids at $22 a bottle.
Jesus.
Oh.
I mean, the whole thing of this is obviously what he's selling is essentially snake oil, let's be fair.
Oh no, this actually legitimately would, if what he's saying is true, would kind of be useful if the child had a vitamin deficiency. So it's got a lot of fish oil and shit. But, so basically he's saying this is good for brain development. It won't be that good for brain development, I'll guarantee you that. There's also vitamin D and vitamin E in there as well. So no, if you had a vitamin deficiency, this could be genuinely decent to take, but I would not pay $23 a bottle when you can get the same thing for 50p.
I was going to say, it's one of the wonderful
holy shit, this is overpriced.
Medicines that are cheap, but I mean, you're going to say, even in America, I imagine things like basic vitamin tablets.
Yeah, I can't imagine vitamin tablets can be that expensive.
We all know that American pharmaceutical companies like to jack up prices exponentially.
So, you're going to like this, right? In amongst all these nutraceuticals, I think is what he calls them, there is a
I mean, I want to stress
an armor backpack plate. There's an armor backpack insert. On his side. There's an armor backpack insert. So you know the inserts you put in vests and stuff to give you some kind of bullet resistance. No, not Kevlar. This will be, I'd imagine, steel, because it's an insert. It'll either be steel or ceramic. It's neither. It's carbon fiber. Sorry, carbon nanotubes. Okay.
Yeah. What is this kind of his solution to school mass shootings?
I mean, I can see the logic. So, according to his site, this can stop .22 long rifle, .380, 9mm, .40 cal, 40 ACP, and 357 Magnum. So, if this is his solution to school shootings, I get it. Okay, a way, I guess.
The question is it how old does it stop rifles?
And at $79 too. I'd actually quite like to. If anyone in the audience owns any gun that is calibered in any of these, let me know. And yeah, see what you think, whether it'd stop it or not.
I thought you were gonna say you're gonna buy some.
Oh yeah, totally gonna buy them. Right, yeah. Shipping outside of the EU. They do actually. it cannot be shipped to Connecticut or outside of the US. Why can't it be shipped to Connecticut?
Fuck knows.
Honestly, if you want a joke, just go to the InfoWars store, guys. It's fucking amazing.
I just don't want that on my search history.
Ah, but like, it's so great. Like, they've got coffee on here, actually. Let's have a look.
Oh god.
They have Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at $18 a pack for a...
What the fuck? $18 for a pack of coffee?
To be fair, I've paid
How
more.
much you getting from
I
that?
have paid more for the same price, for the same amount. I actually can't say anything to that one. I'm having a look. How much do you actually get?
You bet it's like coffee beans and not instant.
I would imagine they are coffee beans.
How many like cups are you getting from it?
It doesn't say. £1 bag.
Pound.
What's that in normal numbers? Apparently it's a
dunno,
medium roast and it's a whole bean. So, okay.
Yeah.
If a pound is a
Yeah.
decent amount. It's apparently great coffee. What I find incredible is there's like no low reviews. Everything is like 5-star.
Well, that's the thing. The only people who go on there to buy the stuff are going to be his fan base.
What was that, Adam?
£1 is 0.454 kilograms.
It's basically half a kilo, yeah?
Yeah.
$17 for that? That's not the worst.
So I think that's probably a bit overpriced
It's a
still.
bit overpriced for a medium blend coffee that's like
Yeah.
got a label and shit on that doesn't actually have any, like, I don't know. I mean, the last I bought a 200-gram bag of coffee for my dad when I went to Nottingham, and I think that were £7 or £8. So like, I paid more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that isn't the most overpriced coffee, is what I'm saying. Someone in America, let me know, what's this coffee like? I'm interested. This is where it just tastes like tar, isn't it? But it's the markup. It's so pro-America and pro. It screams gun nut, is what I'm saying.
That's the kind of audience that, you know,
And there's
he has.
absolutely no consistency with like the stuff he sells. Like, you've got nutraceuticals, creams, you've got oils. Then mixed in with that is coffee and a carbon nanotube plate, which I don't think would be all that effective. But I'm not entirely sure. It might-
Carbon fiber is
It's pretty
very
strong.
strong.
It'd probably stop out of them. It'd probably stop 2 long rifle,
I
9mm, maybe
you know-
380. Oh,
Yeah,
actually,
but I
fair
don't
enough.
think
No,
you know
maybe
what's on.
probably would stop them all. Yeah, fair enough. I could maybe see that. I just don't understand why that's in there with all like the creams and shit. Also, we've gone off on a tangent for Alex Jones way too long. God
Yeah.
riddance, you fucker. All he does was spout bullshit. Isn't he? Like, just fucking arsehole. But I would recommend, if you have an Android phone, getting the Alex Jones soundboard. It's pretty amazing. So should we go into the next story? Do you want to wrap these two up into the same story, because they're both about shootings and shit?
Go on then.
So we've got, first of all, another shooting in Canada, which I believe entailed a lot of people saying sorry. But I can't quite remember this story, so I'm just going to throw up a picture of the Canadian flag, as is tradition, obviously. And then we had another shooting. England was in the news for their shootings this time. There was a mass shooting just out of Manchester. Where
There's not much, there's not
much news in it
detail.
at the moment. No. But essentially, from what we are able to gather, was it 10 people who were injured with pellet-like injuries,
Yeah.
which
I
either
think-
means pellet gun or shotgun. Which,
Yeah.
since there's 10 people injured, I'm gonna guess it's probably gonna be a shotgun.
Yeah, like so, non-life threatening but critical, I think was the definition of what I was saying when I was looking it up.
Hmm.
Dangerous, non-life threatening but critical.
There's 12 injured.
12
remain
injured now.
hospital.
No.
Yeah, 4 remain hospital, while 8, including the teenager, have been charged.
Oh, okay. So didn't this happen at like a street side carnival type thing? This was that's what I got, because I was reading this story this morning, I think it was. So it happened like in the early hours of last night, didn't it? Like the early hours of this morning, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2:25 a.m.
2:25.
on Claremont Road.
Yeah. So like, there's not all that much that we've got at the moment. We don't know anything about the culprit. We don't know anything about the victims. It's just going to be one of them things that just keep an eye on, I think. But yeah, for those people who are like so pro.
Like this often.
Yeah, that's true. For those people who think that Britain is immune to mass shootings, here's evidence that we're definitely not.
The only addition to add to that, though, however, is that they're very rare.
I think this is the third one that we can consider a mass shooting, isn't it?
Well, and talking in just recent history, or
I mean, in recent history. I mean,
yeah, since World War Two. World War One.
yeah. But yeah, no, I'm interested to see how the government reacts to this, especially if it is a shotgun, because I'm gonna sound so much like the person I was just describing, like, but I don't want them to really take the shotguns away. I think this country has really restrictive gun laws as is. I think we could do without getting rid of shotguns.
Yeah, well, I think we were saying before, I don't think shotguns the government can touch them because farmers use them.
Well, farmers use rifles too, but they touch them.
Yeah, well, they use a lot of old style rifles though, simply to drive away pests.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll be able to really get rid of shotguns. And the thing is, like, again, we don't know the details. So whether this is an old style shotgun or a modern style shotgun.
It would probably be an old style shotgun.
Yeah. But the thing is, obviously, if it's something like an old double barrel, the thing is, again, it comes down to the case of what would you rather someone come at you with? Obviously, a semi-auto rifle or a double barrel shotgun where they have to spend a good 10 or so seconds reloading after every 2 shots.
Is neither an option?
Yeah, I'm saying, of course, the chance of actually being caught in a mass shooting in Britain is so unlikely anyway.
However, being caught in a mass stabbing...
Still not as likely as being caught in a mass shooting in America.
Unless it's London, in which case it's about equal.
London is for the rest of Britain, though.
True.
That's the thing that annoys me. Everyone thinks that London is Britain.
No, to be fair, Britain
city,
does have a lot of Britain does have a lot of gun violence and knife violence within like gangs and stuff. So like, the place this happened was in like a sort of, as you would describe them, as a ghetto with like a lot of drug activity and a lot of dealings and whatnot. So this might just be a drug feud that got a few too many innocent people involved.
Possibly.
I don't think it is. I think the circumstances lean too much towards a sort of that's too convenient. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's too convenient an excuse. There's no doubt going to be a response from the government at some point. Probably tomorrow, I'd imagine. So we're recording this on the 12th. So I'd imagine on the 13th or maybe the 14th. They might give it a bit longer, like because the forensics were on side today. Maybe they'll let them put a report through and whatnot. I'm a bit worried. I don't think they're gonna have a problem. I don't think they're gonna have a problem touching the shotguns. I think they're gonna raise it, and I'm gonna be interested to see who's gonna stop it. Because I think it's gonna be a very telling moment in sort of political Britain, don't you? Because, like you say, there are legitimate reasons to have them. If you're a farmer,
Yeah.
they're useful for pest control. They're useful
And
for.
the thing is, we have a thing. We have a culture that doesn't, have people using guns to take matters into their own hands, which is, the big issue that America has with guns.
Mm.
Is
I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. So keep your eyes and ears peeled to the news on that one if you're a British citizen, or even if you're just interested in Britain. I have no idea why you'd be interested in Britain. We're pretty boring, really. We sit around, drink tea, and eat crumpets all day, don't we? Is that the stereotype, isn't it? Yeah.
don't forget biscuit.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Biscuits to dunk in your tea, which will confuse all the Americans because Americans don't know what biscuits are.
They do. They just mean something totally different.
Yeah, well, no, American biscuits are scones.
Or it's a thick. Yeah.
Anyway,
So biscuits and gravy would be like scones with like a thick sort of stewy kind of mixture. They're really weird, Americans.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
But no, what do we mean by
Yeah.
biscuits then? What's their equivalent?
Don't know. I think they call them crackers or something.
Oh, but crackers are like weird, like Jacob's crackers.
Crackers are like, yeah, I know, and that's the thing. But bloody-
Digestives.
What was that called? What was that, Adam?
Oh, well, they call graham crackers, we call digestives.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I believe that's the thing.
Because I know when I went to New York, I found it very weird buying like chocolate and stuff and snacks. Because the names are very different.
yeah, I know we call jam jelly.
No, jelly is something different.
Yellow.
Jelly is something different. Jelly is
Obviously.
it's like a thinner jam. If that makes
No,
sense.
like but it's still jam, and they don't have jam. They have, they just have jelly, and then they have jello instead of what's actually jelly.
But yeah, keep your eyes and ears open to the news, ladies and gentlemen, because it could be fascinating next week. I mean, I say fascinating, it's probably going to be pretty shit, to be honest.
Fascinating if you study political science.
Yeah, sure. Let's go for that one. But yeah, I think we should leave it there. Do you think? I think we ran for about an hour and a half, just a bit short. But yeah, I think we should call it quits there. Rest in peace, Barry. Good luck to both Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn this next week. And fuck you, Alex Jones.
Yeah, I think I can get behind.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 of those. Good luck, Boris Johnson. I don't think I can get behind, but
I thought you were going to say I don't think Jeremy Corbyn needs a good look. But yeah, no. Until next week, guys. Goodbye.